Welcome, viewers, from Zalengam Media. In today's in-depth analysis, we explore the complex dynamics of Indian-based insurgent groups such as National Socialist Council of Nagaland, Nscn, Kangleipak Communist Party, KCP, and United National Liberation Front, UNLF, as they navigate the ongoing conflict in Myanmar. These groups, which have long fought for regional autonomy in India's northeast, have found themselves in an increasingly complex relationship with Myanmar's military junta. Their support for the junta, despite its brutal repression of pro-democracy movements and ethnic minorities, raises significant questions about their motivations and the wider geopolitical implications. Disclaimer: the following content is intended to provide a nuanced analysis of the geopolitical context of the Myanmar conflict. The views expressed here aim to shed light on the situation as it stands, not to endorse any specific ideology or group. The situation is dynamic, and the content represents a snapshot as of March 2025. Introduction. The military junta in Myanmar, which seized power through a coup in February 2021, has sparked a widespread insurgency and resistance movement within the country. The People's Defense Forces, PDF, an alliance of ethnic militias and pro-democracy groups, have been at the forefront of opposition against the junta. However, Myanmar's military regime has not only faced local resistance, but also support from external groups, particularly Indian-based insurgent groups like Nscn, KCP, and UNLF. These insurgent groups have found strategic, logistical, and ideological alignment with Myanmar's military, despite the junta's harsh crackdown on democracy and its ethnic minorities. A key factor that complicates this relationship is the ideological differences between Nscn and Meitei militant groups, especially regarding the issue of territorial expansion. While Nscn has long sought to establish a Greater Nagaland, Nagalim, which includes parts of Manipur, Meitei militant groups such as KCP and UNLF view this as a direct challenge to their own territorial claims. The article explores the historical, geopolitical, and cultural factors that have led to the alignment of these groups with Myanmar's junta, as well as their opposition to the PDF and the challenges they face within their own internal divisions. Historical context of Indian-based insurgents and Myanmar. To understand why these insurgent groups have chosen to support Myanmar's military junta, it's essential to explore their historical connections to Myanmar and the strategic importance of the region. 1. Nscn, National Socialist Council of Nagaland, Isakmuiva. The Nscn is the largest and most influential Naga insurgent group, which has sought the creation of a Greater Nagaland, Nagalim, that includes parts of Nagaland, Manipur, and Myanmar's Chin State and Sagaing Division. The Nscn has had a long history of operating along the India-Myanmar border and has used Myanmar as a sanctuary for arms, supplies, and training. The group's relationship with Myanmar's military is based on mutual benefits. Myanmar's military provides the Nscn with logistical support, while the Nscn offers the junta stability in the border areas and contributes to Myanmar's efforts to contain other insurgencies. Second Kangleipak Communist Party, KCP. The KCP, a Meitei insurgent group, seeks greater autonomy for the Meitei people of Manipur. The KCP has historically used Myanmar as a logistical base and safe haven for its operations. While the KCP's goals are distinct from those of the Nscn, its alliance with Myanmar's military offers it protection and operational support. Like the Nscn, the KCP views Myanmar's borderlands as essential for launching attacks against Indian forces and for maintaining supply routes. 3. United National Liberation Front, UNLF. Like the KCP, the UNLF represents the interests of the Meitei people of Manipur, and has also relied on Myanmar's border regions for logistical support. The UNLF has operated in Myanmar's Chin State and Sagaing Division, using these regions to conduct operations against India's central government. The relationship with Myanmar's military is based on similar interests as the KCP, protecting insurgent operations and gaining access to arms and supplies. These insurgent groups, although they have different visions for the future of their respective regions, share the common goal of autonomy or independence from India. Myanmar's military, despite its authoritarian rule, provides them with sanctuary and support, fostering a complex alliance. Reasons for supporting Myanmar's military junta. The primary question that arises is, why do groups like Nscn, KCP, and UNLF support Myanmar's military junta? There are several factors at play, including strategic alliances, ethnic solidarity, and anti-India sentiments. 1. Strategic and logistical support. Myanmar's military provides critical logistical support to these insurgent groups, including safe havens in Myanmar's border regions, arms supplies, and assistance in smuggling and recruitment. The India-Myanmar border is a vital route for insurgent groups to transport weapons, fighters, and supplies. This geographical advantage plays a pivotal role in the operations of the Nscn, KCP, and UNLF, who rely on Myanmar for sanctuary and operational freedom. Nscn. The Nscn benefits significantly from its relationship with Myanmar's military, particularly in terms of weapons supply and territory for its activities in Nagalim. Myanmar's military provides logistical support to the Nscn's operations in Myanmar's Naga-inhabited areas, and the Nscn reciprocates by offering assistance to the junta in controlling ethnic groups within Myanmar. KCP and UNLF. Similarly, the KCP and UNLF use Myanmar as a logistical base, where they receive arms and other supplies for their insurgencies in Manipur. Myanmar's military has allowed these groups to operate relatively freely in border areas, which is critical to the group's survival and operations against the Indian government. 2. Shared anti-India sentiment. Both the Nscn and Meitei militant groups, like KCP and UNLF, share a common anti-India sentiment, which aligns with Myanmar's military junta. India's support for Myanmar's pro-democracy movements, including the National Unity Government, NUG, has made Myanmar's military hostile toward India. This hostility fosters a sense of solidarity between Myanmar's junta and the insurgent groups from India's northeast, which also oppose Indian rule. The Nscn and KCP, in particular, view India as an occupying power in their territories and align with Myanmar's military as a counterbalance to India's influence in the region. 3. Ethnic and cultural ties. Myanmar's ethnic diversity, particularly in the Naga and Meitei regions, has also fostered close ethnic ties between Indian insurgent groups and Myanmar's military. The Nscn has a significant Naga presence in Myanmar's Chin State and Sagaing Division, and the military junta views the Naga people as a potentially loyal ally in controlling its border regions. The KCP and UNLF similarly have ethnic and cultural ties to the Meitei and Kuki peoples in Myanmar's border regions, which has led to mutual support for Myanmar's military. 4. Ideological differences. Nscn's ambition of Nagalim versus Meitei group's opposition. One of the most significant points of tension between Nscn and Meitei militant groups is the issue of territorial expansion. Nscn-IM's vision of Nagalim includes Manipur, an area inhabited by the Meitei people. For the KCP and UNLF, who advocate for the independence of Manipur, the expansion of Nagalim into their territory is viewed as a direct threat. This territorial dispute has caused significant ideological differences, particularly between Nscn-IM and Meitei militant groups, despite their shared goal of autonomy from the Indian government. Nscn-IM. The Nscn-IM views Manipur as an integral part of its vision for Nagalim, while KCP and Unlf argue that Manipur should remain independent of both India and Nagalim. This difference in territorial ambition has led to occasional clashes and tensions between these groups, despite their common opposition to India. Opposition to the People's Defense Forces, PDF. The People's Defense Forces, PDF, which are composed of ethnic militias and pro-democracy groups fighting against the military junta, represent a major challenge to the junta's authority. These groups are pushing for democracy, federalism, and ethnic autonomy within Myanmar, which contradicts the goals of the Nscn-IM, KCP, and Unlf. Nscn-IM. The PDF's pro-democracy stance undermines Nscn-IM's authoritarian vision for Nagalim and poses a threat to their influence in Myanmar's border regions. Similarly, the KCP and UNLF see the PDF as a rival to their separatist movements, as the PDF's push for a federal Myanmar contradicts their desire for independence. Conclusion: the involvement of Indian-based insurgent groups like the Nscn-IM, KCP, and UNLF in Myanmar's conflict is driven by a combination of strategic interests, ethnic ties, and shared anti-India sentiments. While these groups have often found common ground in opposing the Indian government, their support for Myanmar's military junta is not without complications. The Nscn-IM seeks to expand its vision of Nagalim to include Manipur, which puts it at odds with Meitei groups like the KCP and UNLF, who view Manipur's autonomy as essential to their own struggles for self-determination. As Myanmar's military junta consolidates its power, the relationships between these insurgent groups will continue to shape the conflict in Myanmar and the broader geopolitics of the region. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Zalengam Media's YouTube channel for more updates and in-depth coverage of regional conflicts and geopolitical issues. Stay tuned for further analyses and discussions.